People are going to lose their homes. They're going to lose their homes.
Homebuyers are backing out of deals at a record pace right now.
All right, the current administration might be declaring a state of emergency for the housing crisis that we're in.
Okay, I'm going to try to keep this brief, but I feel like I'm having a crash out about the housing market.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be taking a look at the housing market. Is it worth purchasing a home today?
No.
As a real estate agent in Florida, I'm going to tell you what I've been seeing lately. So we're getting a ton of sellers who want to sell. Great, awesome clients, listings. But no, there's a catch because majority of these sellers want us to sell their property for a value it's not worth. The numbers don't lie. The comps don't lie. If you want to overprice your property and shoot yourself in the foot, that's one thing. But we're realizing that it's not even worth taking the listing. Who cares? We don't need the listings to show we get listings, because when we get a listing and we market, we're dumping at least $500 per property to get it going, get the photography, get the videography. It costs money to play. So if we're spending all this money, say we have 5 sellers who want to list their house all overpriced, 5 times 500 is $2,500 that more than likely the houses aren't going to sell. Like, let's be honest. The sellers aren't going to accept a lowball offer is what they call it, but realistically it's what the house is worth, but they're not going to accept it. So agents are spinning their wheels, dumping money into these properties to try and sell it when it's just a waste of time. It really is. And I hate to say it, but it's what's going on right now. So Florida, I don't know what state you guys are in, but I'm in Florida and it's 100% a buyer's market right now. Sellers do not have the upper hand. You're lucky to get a couple showings right now, especially if you're overpriced. You're probably going to get none.
I find it funny that they sold the homes for a high price like a year or a year and a half ago, right? And now they're turning around and saying, hey, your home is not worth that much.
Are you sure this is legal? I don't know.
They're going to make a commission regardless, but your home's not worth that much, guys. Fortunately, a lot of people ended up purchasing a home for more than it's worth, and the interest rate is so high that they have to sell, because that's the situation that they're in. The interest rate is costing them so much on a monthly basis, and then not to mention you have insurances, things that go up each year, taxes. Come on, guys, you got to think about this before you make that type of purchase, especially if you're overpaying.
All right, the current administration might be declaring a state of emergency for the housing crisis that we're in. If you know me, you know I've been bantering about this for freaking ever. I cannot agree more with what the summary there is, which is that we are in a housing crisis. We have a housing crisis in the United States of America, and people were not talking about it enough, and now they are. Thank God for that, because let me give you the lay of the land here for what's happening right now. I was just on live TV with my girl Shannon Cake. She's an amazing journalist and anchor. And we were talking about the Trump administration potentially issuing a national state of emergency for the housing crisis in the United States. And this is something that I want everyone to understand. I was just browsing some comments on a social media post that was dismissing this and downplaying this. And this is not a political opinion whatsoever. This is a boots on the ground. I'm seeing this every single day from someone who has sold a lot of real estate and also mentors real estate agents across the country. I ask them at the top of every call that we do, I feel like I ask, how's the market in your area? For the last 5 years, I've been asking this. And here's the thing. If you're an older millennial, meaning you're between the ages of 35 and 45, and you don't own a home right now, no matter where you live, whether you're in Boise, Idaho, Des Moines, Iowa, South Florida, it is damn near impossible to be able to buy a house right now if you don't currently own a home. If you missed the boat and the opportunity to buy a home before 2020, and then you missed the low interest rates of 2020. Let's say for whatever reason, you just weren't able to buy a home. And now you're renting still at the age of 40, and you have children and you have mouths to feed, and you're paying, let's say $2,500 a month in rent, okay? And you make $75,000 a year, which is a great income. You make $75,000 a year, paying $2,500 in rent. That of your $5,000 a month check after taxes, let's say, and that's being modest, after taxes, that leaves you with living expenses, and that leaves you with nothing to put away in savings. Okay, so the average home price in America right now is between $400,000 and $600,000 depending on where you live. In order to buy a $400,000 house, you have to have a 20% down payment, which means you have to come up with $80,000 to put into savings. And the issue, the housing crisis that we're in right now, is people are not taking into consideration when they're looking at, putting away $80,000 to be able to, have a down payment for a house, that insurance is only going up because of what just happened in California and in the Carolinas and here in Florida. The insurance crisis is so real. So you have to take that into consideration. You have to basically find an extra $1,000 a month just to be able to pay for your insurance. And then when you look at this $80,000 that you have to save up to be able to afford a 20% down payment, yes, there are loan programs that exist that are less than that, but let's just say you don't qualify for those. This applies to so many Americans. So when these stats come up that there are 700,000 people across the United States that are homeless right now, that number is only going to get greater and greater and greater if we can't empower millennials to be able to buy a house.
A lot of people don't have the savings, and then they have families that they got to take care of on top of that, not to mention the rising cost in rent. So once you factor all of those in, how does somebody purchase a home? Now you have two incomes, but once you add somebody taking care of the kids or things of that nature, you have to start to calculate how much money is really going out each month. This is the current state of America, guys.
This is America. Don't got you slipping up.
Now in Florida in particular, I know that they're building on a crazy level. So they're building everywhere. Yet a lot of people cannot purchase these homes. Now, what does that tell you? Let's get into the comments. I want you guys to discuss with me. What can we do to change what's going on with this housing market? Would you even purchase right now?
I love a good conspiracy theory, but at this point it's not conspiracy, and I think it's just downright facts. I 1000% believe as an agent that we're not going to go into all these foreclosures because of interest rates. I think we're legitimately going to see, especially first entry houses, first time home buyer houses, I think we're going to see those people start foreclosing for taxes and for insurance. Homeowners insurance has gotten absurd. I literally just had somebody call me with a $5,700 a year premium as a first-time home buyer. Now, mind you, it's a weird situation that it's not normal. I get that. But $5,700. It's not okay. This is not okay. And they can't live, and they can't make it, and they can't do. But you also can't afford not to have a house.
Yeah, like I brought up earlier, the insurance in places like California, Florida, Texas, I guess. Yeah, you got a lot of places that get a lot of natural disasters. Those insurance companies are leaving. And what they're doing is it's causing a monopoly in a sense, where the smaller companies basically come back in and they charge a very high price.
Home buyers are backing out of deals at a record pace right now. The reason why I bring this up is because one of my buyers backed out of their deal this morning due to inspection issues. And it got me thinking, how many buyers are actually backing out of deals right now? August 2025, 15.1% of transactions fell through. Most of it was due to inspection issues, then it was financing issues, and then it was just general economic uncertainty. Buyers are seeing the increase in inventory. My buyer, for example, has seen all the other homes on the market that he could potentially get that doesn't require as much work as this one would, which got him thinking, it's well, I could pay a little bit more money to get something that's completely move-in ready instead of buying this house where I gotta pay money for a new roof, fix the water damage, etc. A lot of buyers are starting to think that way because they see the increase in inventory, because there's more options, because they're not competing against as many buyers anymore, so the competition level has come down slightly. So buyers in turn are getting pickier and pickier, which is why we're seeing this increase in deals falling through.
I don't think the competition level came down slightly. I think it came down dramatically. Nobody can afford a home right now. With the rising cost of everything and even home prices, how can you afford something like that? Now, if you have first-time home buyer, right? You would think that, hey, that would save you.
I said, hold on.
No. Use your first-time home buyer. You're going to put a lower percentage down. But guess what happens? You have to pay something called PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. You have to insure your loan.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Okay, I'm going to try to keep this brief, but I feel like I'm having a crash out about the housing market. Does anybody else just basically think what is going to happen to everyone under the age of 40 for the next 20 years? And what I mean by that is that I do not understand how anyone in their right mind who is about to graduate college is going to actually afford anything. When I graduated college 13 years ago, I bought a house in foreclosure for $38,000. You can't even find that. And it wasn't even that bad. Was it livable? Yes, but I decided to gut it because times were different when I did that. And then I put several $1,000s in it to get it up to par. And then I sold it in 2020 during the COVID craze for $140,000. So I came down here to a new state, had to spend not quite twice as much, but quite a bit more for me to get double the house. And now I see on Zillow today that my old house that I bought originally for $38,000 and then sold for $140,000 is now on the market for $252,000. I am sorry, but it is not worth $252,000. I lived in it. Like, I redid it all the way down to the studs. And I do not understand how anybody who is 23 years old, who gets their first job right out of college, is going to put down roots in a $252,000 house that is literally just 1,200 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, tiny, doesn't have a huge backyard, right on the road, is not like the kind of house that you want to put $250,000 in. So my question is, I don't blame the government. I don't blame politicians. I blame the market of people thinking that their house is worth this kind of money. Like, how are we going to get there? I just don't understand. I don't understand, because I know it probably feels good if you're selling your house that you get this huge payout. You're like, oh my God, I bought this house for $120,000 and now in this market I can sell it for $450,000. My problem is that you're taking all that money that you made and you're paying an astronomical amount of money to go try to get something else. So now, sure, you made $300,000 on this house, but now you got to go spend $650,000 to get more than what you had. Like, I'm serious. What are we going to do about this?
Yeah, so that's what you're running into when it comes to the housing market. Those days are gone. See, when I was a little bit younger, I would take it back like 5-7 years. I used to work for a lot of realtors and a lot of investors. And doing that, I learned a lot in that field. I learned a lot from them, and I learned a lot about investing. I learned about flipping and fixing and all that stuff. With that being said, right, those days of fixing and flipping is over.
Goodbye.
And the reason I say that is because of the price of everything and the work that you get from a lot of these fix and flips. A lot of these new homes being built, these are contractors at that, right? And they're coming in, they're fixing these homes. If you get an inspection, half the time, a lot of things you think are in perfect order is terrible underneath.
We started the home hunting process and it is not going well. Pretty much every avenue we go down, it seems like there's just more and more roadblocks. The single family home, you have to worry about the taxes, the CDD fees. There's also an HOA. Oh, what about home insurance? Then you go down the route of the townhome. Guess what? The HOA is another car payment. Genuinely, like, my brain feels like it's going to explode. And then you find a house you like, and guess what? They won't accept FHA, okay? They want conventional only. So that means you got to put up like 70 grand cash, and I don't have that, okay? Unless I can pay in debt, I don't have that, okay? It's not like we don't even make good money. Separately, me and my partner, we make good money. Together, we make great money, okay? I want to go back to the times where you could buy a house, a beautiful house, for under 200 grand. My partner's, his parents, they bought a house, their first home, for under 100 grand. My parents, beautiful suburb area, they bought theirs for under 200 grand. So I want to just understand why it's so expensive to buy a home right now. Okay, you want to know what I can get for under 200 grand in Tampa? Nothing. Nada. Can't buy a plot of land. I probably could get maybe a 4x4 cardboard box.
I'm being dead serious. I'm looking at houses, like, for my son, and how the does anybody afford a house? Holy shit, I'm not even kidding. Like, if you own a piece of property, you better hold on to it for dear life, because it's unaffordable for anyone. Like, my children are never going to be able to afford a house. I don't even understand. Now, this is in Illinois, and I don't know how other states are. I don't know how other people are doing, but like, what the it's bonkers out there. Like, what? I mean, how much do people have to make to be able to afford a house?
So yeah, that's just the housing market for you. But hey, I appreciate you guys coming back to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. And Watch this next video.
People are going to lose their homes. They're going to lose their homes. I'm telling you guys, the storm is brewing and it's coming fast. Insurance premiums and property taxes are skyrocketing through the roof, and the result is people's mortgage payments are getting higher and higher to the point that it's going to be unaffordable for most people. If you don't already know, your property insurance and your property taxes are rolled into your mortgage payment for as long as you have a mortgage. If you don't have a mortgage, you have to pay those property taxes and insurance separately outside of the mortgage.